pickle people, we are back. This is episode 17. That is 1-7. That is 7 after 10. We're over a dozen episodes in. I am your host, Matthew K Pickleball. This is This a Pickleball podcast? I am joined for the 17th episode of this podcast with my co-host, Mr. Wilson. Mr. Wilson, how are you today?
Hey, I'm doing pretty good. We kind of rushed this one a little bit, but we'll see how it goes, right, Matt? Sometimes it's nice to wing it.
You know what? We're not even winging it, folks. We've got an outline. We are prepared. And I know you all do not like to linger on the intro. So we're just going to move on. We're going to truck along with these very important reminders. Please, if you're watching, if you're listening, make sure you subscribe. Add us on Spotify. Add us on Apple Podcasts, wherever you listen. And then definitely give us a like on YouTube. And then on the Matthew K Pickleball channel, we are always doing giveaways and a few reminders. I just wrapped up my review of the PaddleTech GTOC paddles. I have those right here. Oh, I got my piles in reverse, folks, but I have them. These paddles, we are giving one of these away on this review, which no one has watched. I guess folks just don't want to watch a whole paddle review, a month or so after the release. Someone, Wilson, can you believe this? Someone commented on that video or on one of my videos, "You're always 3 months behind all the other reviewers." Folks, I guess I just take a long time to test paddles. I don't know. Like I do other things. I definitely don't play as much as Mr. Wilson, and he's helping me out a lot with the reviews. So hang in with us, stay tuned. We're gonna get through them, but definitely check out that review. We're giving away a very nice PaddleTech GTOC paddle, so check out that video to find out how to win. We're also giving away a Dinkaroo, one of our favorite on-court little fun practice tools, a little mini net. That's in my Vatic Saga video. We are giving away one of the very popular Honolulu Next Gen paddles. Check out that video. And I think by the time this goes up, we'll probably still be doing the giveaway for the famous or the infamous Honolulu Pizza Peel J4K paddle. Check that video out. And then we'll talk about it in a second. My schedule's about to get wonky, but I do have a Carbon True Foam Genesis 4 paddle review in the works, and that one has a giveaway. That will be the first next-gen carbon paddle I will be giving away on the channel. Wilson, I think you got to enter that one. We talked about it last pod.
I want
People
to
are
enter
saying you
it.
can enter. What do you guys
And then
think, folks? Comment down below. Should Wilson be eligible for these giveaways? But
I hope
anyway, all
majority
right.
say
So
yes,
here,
though.
all right. Give Wilson a yes down there. But all right, folks. One little more bit of housekeeping. I am actually going to be out of the country for a little beat, and I'll be away from the pickleball courts. And so you know what? I think hopefully you guys hang in and come back once I'm back. Wilson is probably going to be throwing some updates in our Instagram channel because he's going to have a stack of paddles he's testing. So if you need some Matthew K Pickleball energy, check out the channel over on the Instagram account. But yeah, I'll be away. And then Wilson, I heard you scheduled an entire Moneyball tournament while I'm out of town so you don't have to partner with me. That's the word on the street. I heard you're playing with our friend Chris, I believe. He's subbing in for the Matthew K Pickleball Energy. Is that right?
No, I'm actually playing it with Conrad.
Conrad. Oh, uh-oh, Chris. Uh-oh, I'm sorry, dude. If you're listening, I thought you were the one in it. Conrad is in the spot. He's the Matthew K sub. All right, well, that should be a good time. Thank you, Wilson, for allowing me to be away and not embarrass myself amongst all of your very talented friends.
No, don't worry, there'll be other money balls. I just wanted to do something locally, that's not as expensive as a tournament, I want to get some good games in without the tournament prices. So yeah, there'll be other ones. Don't worry, Matt.
All right, you guys heard it here first. Wilson hustling the LA pickleball folks, trying to get your guys' money. But good luck, everyone. I'm sorry I can't be there, but I'm sure it will be a blast. Chris, maybe we can do the money ball next time.
There you go.
So if you're listening, hit me up, and then one other little thing, a little bit of a fit check. I got my RatherBeClub hat on today. What do you think, Wilson? Do you think I look like a
Looking
pickleball
good.
reviewer?
There you
Yeah.
go.
I also
Yes.
wore this. I wore this shirt in your honor. This is. I know you're hitting up
Ah,
Disneyland later this week, and this is
yes,
from
I
one of my
am.
favorite pickleball. Yeah, this is from Flamingo Pickleball, and they have some of the most fun pickleball shirts. So I thought I'd break this out, wrinkles and all, just for you. A little
Thank you.
guys, it's a
Thank
little
you.
impromptu. Little impromptu recording, so the iron didn't make it out, but who are we kidding? You guys have never seen an iron shirt on this channel before. But anyway, I think that is enough rambling because no one likes the rambling on the pod, apparently. And I thought, Wilson, we got some big updates to talk about.
Yeah. What's that?
Yeah, you seem stoked. Oh my gosh, I might have to edit that pause out. Jeez Louise, Wilson, act like you're excited. All right, folks, we got some big news. We have some big news. All right, I don't have them in front of me, but I just got a text. I got a text from the owner of Honolulu Pickleball, and there are new Honolulu paddles on the way. If you're familiar,
Oh,
everyone, we've got this is the J2NF, which I've reviewed on the channel, and I actually want to talk a little bit about this in a moment. But the news is, the update is, we've got the J7NF coming, the J3NF, so we've got the J7 is Honolulu's elongated shape, which not many people talk about that one, but it's a long boy. It's a long one. And then the J3NF is their standard, and then they are releasing a J2NF, but with an extended handle. So they advertise this one here as a 5.5 inch handle. They are releasing this with a 6 inch handle. And so I think those will be very interesting. I think folks know I love their hybrid. And then the J3 shape, I think of Honolulu's paddles, that's the one that always varies the most between whatever version they release. The very, very original J3 was a control beast. And then we've had some, with their pro versions, we've had some aggressive J3s. I'm really curious what their next gen NF is going to be like. But those are some pretty big announcements. Are you excited, Wilson?
yeah. When are they going to be released? Is there an approximate
Ooh,
date?
the long handle, the extended handle is on the site for pre-order, I believe. And yeah, Honolulu, they are not folks that give out dates. They just are moving so fast. It's when they've got them. And I find out about upcoming paddles sometimes. You know how folks, the little cheat code to find out the latest Honolulu paddle is if you follow them on the shop app. That's how you find out when they stock, when some of their stock goes live. And so sometimes I find that out, and then I'll go text the owner over there like, "What the heck? I need some time to test this out." But yeah, it's all gonna come soon because once the review units go out, that means it's like about to happen. So be on the lookout. I don't have firm dates for those, although I believe the extended handle one does have a release date on the website. But when I was, making my notes for this little section, Wilson, I was out in the same breath because we weren't going to record a pod today. So I was actually trying to wrap up my carbon review script because, I didn't want that one to be 2 months late, which it probably is. So I'll get a whole 12 views on that video. But guys, don't forget there's a giveaway, so make sure you subscribe. But I was writing that and then prepping this podcast, and I sort of came to a little bit of a realization about paddles. Can you believe that? No, about my taste in paddles. So you and me, we've been having a little bit of a friendly debate about what's the term? What's the phrase?
Angle. What was it? I can't even think
Okay,
of it right now.
I had co-opted a term from golf, which I had actually co-opted from Pickleball Effect, to describe, and I
Launch
had
angle.
used the
Yeah.
launch angle. But folks, that I've been using to describe something, and it's taken way too much explanation left and right to like convey what I am using that term to describe. Launch angle does not seem to be the right phrase. And what I've sort of settled on, kind of, still working on it, is trajectory, ball trajectory, or flight path. And so what I had been describing about with the NF paddle from Honolulu in particular, as well as Wilson, I've got all my paddles out of order. What has happened? What a mess. This podcast, this is what happens when you rush, folks. Okay, I had been comparing these two paddles. And here's what I had wanted to communicate. And I'll communicate it like this. So the J2NF flight path, all things equal with what the player is doing, the J2NF yields a lower flight path overall compared to the carbon true foam. The trajectory of the ball is lower with the J2NF compared to the carbon true foam Genesis 4. That's my statement. And yes, a different player might experience something different. Their mechanics might be different. The orientation of their paddle face might be different. But I'm the same player doing the same thing. And so if you think my take on a paddle that you've played with, it lines up with your take, this is some good info for you to ingest. And so I, though, was thinking, because this question sort of happened with the J2 FC Plus for me, but that paddle is constructed so differently, it's still relevant. But what I've realized, because I was working on my True Foam video, and I had just finished this video, and you know what I kind of think I've accidentally discovered is I think I prefer face layups that are thinner. And so what I was digging in, I had to go, to the gurus every once in a while, see what they had to say about paddles, because like, why am I thinking this and that? And so I revisited John Q's old True Foam video for the initial release, because someone had told me, a commenter had said I was wrong when I said this had just a small patch of fiberglass. And I was like, what are you talking about? I remember the x-rays, like, that's not right. Because I was saying the carbon True Foam's fiberglass is a small section, and so if you hit off center, it's not as forgiving as the NF, whose fiberglass isn't just a patch. Okay? And so someone said, you're wrong, bro. The True Foam, it's the whole face. So I went and I dug around, and no, that person's wrong. Unless John Q's wrong, and I don't think that guy's ever been wrong in his life. But yeah, the carbon True Foam, and I presume it's the same for the new shape, it's a patch of fiberglass. And this one is not a little strengthening plate. It's part of the layup, as far as I know. And so, yeah, I felt validated by that. But then I didn't realize when I was digging into John Q's analysis, he discovered that the True Foam, bro, this is 5 layers of carbon fiber with that patch of fiberglass. Whereas we know the J2NF is 1 layer of carbon fiber, a middle layer of fiberglass, and then 1 layer of carbon fiber. So that's 3 layers, 5, 6 layers if you include that fiberglass. And then John Q, I had already known this because he had dissected the 12.7 Bantam GTOC, and he had found that the top layer of this is the advertised carbon fiber, but then it has a bottom layer of fiberglass. But you know what? It's only got 2 layers. 2 layers of face material. Wilson, have you ever heard of such a thing?
No, no. I think the average is like 3, right? But I
Yes.
guess you never really talk about how thick each layer is either. But anyways, so the number of layers, yeah,
Yeah, the
2
number.
is
The number.
surprising.
2. Guys, I'm sorry if I'm getting excited. That just blew my mind when I found that out. And all of this has made me realize, because I've sort of found this, I think, in previous paddles that use typically more than 3 layers of materials for their face layup. I don't like them. And I think that those multiple layers result in a flight path that is steeper than a thinner face layup. Because I was like, why am I so not having this issue with this pop maniac here, the PaddleTech GTOC? Why is that flight path so much lower and sitting closer to the net compared to carbon true foam? This thick boy here. And I think it might have to do, because once again, this flight path thing I've been talking about is on the soft, sometimes flatter hits stroking up on the ball. And so I think the face layup and the amount of layers of material are impacting that initial flight path and how steep that trajectory is. That's what I think. Folks, smarter pickle people, you're there. Let me know what you think down in the comments. But Wilson, what do you think? Do you think I've stumbled onto a discovery here, or is it
Maybe. I mean,
possible?
if you feel like the trajectory on the True Foam is higher and farther, maybe those 5 layers are making the paddle more powerful. I don't know. Maybe that's why it feels a little more less controllable than your paddle tech. I don't know. Maybe.
Yes. Yeah.
But
And what I mean to say, like, not necessarily less controllable, just
mm,
the carbon true foam compared to the Honolulu J2NF, and even compared to
mhm,
the thin PaddleTech GTOCs, it has a steeper ball flight path. That's what
I
I'm
see.
communicating. And that's not to say it's less controllable, it's just different. I have learned I like paddles that hit the balls
Have lower.
lower trajectory, right? And
Got it.
so yeah, that's what I've learned. And this is once again talking about softer strokes, shorter hits.
Mhm.
That's really what I'm concerned about. And I don't think this is really even going to be noticed by folks that have tennis strokes or have a lot of follow through on their hits. It's going to be noticed by people that probably don't have a racket sports background, that either come from ping pong or just started pickleball. And so, yes, I'm not saying one's better than the other. I'm saying my preference though are for paddles that have lower trajectories on the ball flight path. And so yeah, I don't know. I thought that was interesting. I think it's something that reviewers haven't gotten to talk about a lot or really think about a lot, because we don't always know how many layers of carbon fiber are being used. And it's only recently that folks like John Q, Pickleball Medicine have been doing destructive analysis, and with when like using microscopes and whatnot. And that stuff I don't even think now. A lot of reviewers, they must have like a PPO plan. They're X-raying their paddles left and right, but I don't think you can see all of that in those. But yeah, that's my hot take that I'm sure it's gonna get me in hot water. But aside from that little update, Wilson, you're texting me
Yeah.
all the time about these dang VCore paddles. You got people lining up on the street to demo the one you've got. And
Yeah.
this is the Bloom one. And so, folks, if you didn't hear, VCore, Vatic, pump the brakes on this. And there are a lot of commenters kind of critiquing our summary of events, but to summarize in a way that hopefully won't get comments saying you're wrong and whatnot, these paddles were impacted by heat from the sun in a way that Vatic didn't want. And so they've gone through having stuff happen. They're not going to release a paddle that isn't exactly how they want at this point in time, because they're just not going to do it. And so they pumped the brakes on the VCore, and I got an update. All right, are you ready? So
Let's hear it.
They have updated this line, and it's going to be the same core, but with improved structural integrity. And they're swapping out the name though, because they don't want the confusion. And it's going to be called the VSOL, V-SOL. I know you love that VCore name.
VCore sounds so awesome.
It does, but it's down. It's in the Oni wastebasket. All right, that paddle is not coming back. And it's going to be available. Beta versions are going to be available to Vatic ambassadors, I've been told, the second half of August. And so that makes me think, the timeline's chugging along, and we're going to see their take on foam paddles soon.
That's an amazing turnaround, don't you think? It's
To
like
do
a
an
month,
adjustment.
and here's some new paddles. Yeah.
Yeah, I definitely think Vatic knows what they're doing. They've got, but it's
The
exciting.
supply chain.
And
Yeah.
I don't think I have confirmation on the price, but the last I heard, whatever changes they were making, they're aiming to keep that same. What was it? Is it 99 after promo
99
code? After
promo.
Okay, so after
Yeah.
promo code Matthew K, it was under $100. And so my understanding is the last update I had didn't talk about price, but the updates prior, that was the intent. And so we'll see what happens. What are you more excited about, Wilson? Are you more excited about an updated VCore, or an updated, now it's called VSOL?
VSOL.
Are you more excited for the new Vatics, or are you more excited for the new Honolulus? What are you thinking here?
The performance of the Honolulus are definitely a lot better, and I'm excited to try them out.
Wait.
Um,
Say more. What do you mean?
yeah.
That's you just dropped a bomb, Wilson. What are you saying?
No, I've told you this, that the Honolulus are better paddles. The technology, the feel, and everything.
But
It is better.
they didn't have an elongated for you. You're saying even without the
I know,
shapy one?
even with the hybrid, even with the regular handle 5.5 inch hybrid shaped paddle, I enjoyed it more than my current the VCore V7.
Wow.
So I am excited for the newer shapes, the elongated, or even the J2 with the long handle. Uh, Both of them I'm excited to try out. The main reason that I really like the VCore, VSOL, the Vatic is the price point.
All right.
It's and as a consumer, it the price is very enticing.
I hear you. I hear you.
Yeah.
I hear you. I hear you. Well, dude, don't forget about the J2H Plus. That's closer to that price
Yeah.
point. Everyone sleeps on that one. But Honolulu, unrelated to this, but if you're listening, come on. Get us a shape like this with your core. I think that, or whatever core, do your Gen 2 core, do one of your next gen cores. If you embraced this kind, I know the J4K experiment was fun, but I don't know. Is this a PSA? I think it's a PSA for the public. I'm serving the public right now. Honolulu, we want one of your cores in this wide body shape. Please, come on. And then I'll speak for, I don't know if it's a PSA, but a Wilson essay, Wilson service announcement, Honolulu. Think about doing a traditional elongated shape. I think if you haven't done it, you have some very interesting elongated flavors, but you know, the people like what they like. Wilson has been hitting with that same shape, but from different companies for a long time. Mm-hmm. And I think he would be, is the expression a fish to water? A fish to water. He'd just be swimming with joy. He wouldn't even need to go to Disneyland this week. He'd be so Disneyland. He'd be having Disneyland every day in his mind with a normal elongated Honolulu paddle. But we should get you hit in the J7 shape. Yeah. You can let us know from an elongated lover what you think. But yeah, those are the big updates. But we also have a little update too, which is Mark, our friends over at Mark. You know they're based in NYC?
Yeah. No, I didn't know that. That's pretty cool.
How many pickleball brands are out there in the Big Apple? But anyway, Mark took a bite at this line again, and so this is just an aesthetic update on their previous paddle, but then they now have a hybrid. And I'm excited to hit with this one. This one just dropped. And folks, if you remember way back, because I'm sure you've all been watching the Matthew K Pickleball YouTube channel since I started, but I reviewed their very first paddle that really got buzz, the Kinetic, which was, I don't know if it's the same mold, but a similar shape. It was a hybrid. And I haven't hit with one of their hybrids since then. And so I'm excited to hit with this one. And I don't know, for folks that haven't heard your analysis of this paddle before, this is the one it's Gen 2 build, but with 10 millimeter cells. So that's sort of uncommon. But like, what's a little quick synopsis of this paddle for you?
Yeah, so it's super controllable. I would say it falls in the control all court category. It's buttery soft because of the 10 millimeter cells. I really like that. And it was actually my first time using tungsten tape. I experimented with tungsten tape on the unmarked paddle, the unreleased version of this. Um, and I fell in love with it even more. I honestly bring it out on the regular, along with the Vatic, the VCore V7. I actually enjoy playing with my unmarked with some tungsten. I do have a lot of tungsten. I would probably have like quarter of an ounce on
Wow.
it. I think it's like a little. It might be hovering around 9 ounces total.
All
So it's
right.
on the heavy side. But I really love the feel of it with the 10 millimeter cells and the weight and the mass behind it. That plow through is awesome.
Nice. And then,
I like it. Yeah.
yeah, and if you need some tungsten, Bodhi's got some good tungsten.
Yeah.
Pickleball Effects got some good tungsten. I'll leave some links down below. Promo code Matthew K works with both of them if you're on the hunt. And then one thing we talked about in person, which I don't know if you can see it in this video, Mark has done some sort of treatment on their edge guard. Look, the USA Pickleball stamp is down there. They have really made a sleek looking paddle, and I don't quite know what they've done with this edge guard, but and the printing, but it's just very premium, which I've seen and held a lot of paddles. You have too, Wilson, and we were both talking about this together. Very, very sleek finish, and I don't think it's going to show up on camera super well.
No, the black and white parts of the edge guard, it feels like they dipped it in paint. It's like a thick,
Yeah,
you can feel the difference between the green and the black
yeah,
and a white. It is, I, I think it's like built-in edge guard, edge protection, you know?
yeah. It's very cool. It's like a dipped ice cream cone. So,
Yeah.
this is something fun. And so I definitely need to hit with that hybrid so I can join the convo. And
Mhm.
I am a big fan of the 10 millimeter cells, as you know, in general, but I'm not as familiar with it in a Gen 2 build. And so I'm excited to hit with those. And then those are the big updates. But we got some big paddle alerts. I don't know. I think first, we'll you know what we should do? Give me a chance to get a drink of water. What we should do now is let's talk about what we're testing right now. This segment is presented by SwiftNet. If you're looking for a portable net, SwiftNet's as good as you can get. It's made from recycled carbon fiber materials. They're doing good, reusing stuff. So if you want to, reduce waste and support a company that's one of their missions is to reduce waste and make something great out of garbage, SwiftNet is the place to look. And their net's not garbage. They're taking materials from the aerospace industry that need to be reused, recycled, repurposed, and making a really great product. And so check SwiftNet out. Promo code Matthew K will get you a discount with them. But Mr. Wilson, I believe you've been hitting with something. I want to hear about this latest paddle from Hudev. Hudev is a company you and I bonded over a long, long time ago, before I was in the review game, before you were killing it as a podcast co-host. We were hitting around the old school Viva Pro Gen 2 paddle. I did a
Yep.
review on that paddle. That's actually a paddle that actually had that little strengthening plate, that little rectangle. That kind of a similar approach as what the True Foam was doing, that has that sort of activated power. They were one of the first companies to sort of put that stiffer, or I don't know if it's stiffer, but a piece of material, they called it strengthening, closer to the core for that activated power. And that's become a huge trend. Course Pickleball really pushed that, and other companies have adopted that. 11624 has looked at it, and putting that a specific material closer to the core. They were doing it before anybody else was really doing it, and it was in response to, I believe, issues they were having with some of their paddles, and it created it was a real what's that expression? I don't know. They really caught some lightning in the bottle. That paddle was pretty spectacular, especially for the price point. And so they've been quiet for a minute. They had some releases. They had the Mage paddles, and Hudev's was kind of weird. They got a ton of different discounts per their paddles, and I'll try to break it down in the description. But you have their latest. Tell us, what is it? What is this paddle you've
Yeah.
got?
So right here, I have the Hudef Apex Pro 2.
Ooh,
Um,
they're just killing it with the
they
names still, aren't they?
they need to, yeah, it's not too bad. I like the names.
Was there a was there
It's
a one?
yeah, there was, I
Oh, okay.
think. Yes, there was. It had a red border.
I don't
Anyways,
think it was. Oh, you're right. Okay. All right, so I guess that makes sense. I mean, I don't think it was a
yeah.
pro though. I remember. Anyway, let's not
Oh,
get
I
distracted.
see.
This is Hudef's Apex Pro 2. All right.
Yeah, so I'm pretty sure I would say this is their take on Gen 3 paddles because there is a honeycomb core in here. And of course there's edge foam and it's thermoform, but like Matt said in our channel, our Instagram channel, um, they're not very good at describing and showing what they really have inside their paddles. And we're not quite sure unless
Yeah,
Matt's
so
been
I'll summarize this, and
found
then
clarification.
I know you've hit with it, but so
Yeah.
Hudef, here's the real. Here's the real. I think that makes sense. But they're advertising, basically, they're advertising this paddle as having a static weight of 7.8 to 8.3 ounces. Pretty big range. We've seen that with other companies, though. They have a target swing weight of 111 and a target twist weight of 7. And so they're claiming it's utilizing honeycomb with some sort of expanded foam. Wilson was thinking at one point it might be just traditional polypropylene with foam-filled cells. We've seen that in paddles before. A couple, not many. I've done a review of a paddle from Nexus that uses that approach. I guess that would explain the kind of heavier weight for that size paddle. But after like trying to decipher, they have a lot of word salad on their description of this paddle.
Word salad.
And so, but I think it's potentially polypropylene encased in some sort of foam. I would be surprised if they're using all of that language and it's just foam-filled cells. If that's the case, I mean, we kind of have to wait for the paddle dissections. Wilson and I, we're in apartment living. We don't have the sheds. We don't have the capacity of Solly's open.
Yeah.
So we're reliant on the other reviewers to do that, and hopefully they'll glean some info. But aside from how it's made, you've had a chance to actually hit with it. What do you think of it play-wise?
Yeah. Other than the fact that it's a standard wide body shape,
Which is
it
odd.
felt good.
It's odd that they did that because they were doing so well with their elongated series. So, and then they
Yeah,
had
their Viva Pro was the shape was awesome.
yeah.
And that was my first Gen 2 paddle, actually. And I did compete with that one for a little while before I moved on to the bread and butter filth. So this is the first time actually seeing a standard shape release, first release. Usually most companies will do elongated or even hybrid first nowadays. But yeah, anyways, other than shape, the feel felt great. I would say it's not like crazy power. It's not a crazy power paddle. It'll be on the lower end of power, but it felt good. It felt plush. The ball dwelled a good amount. It was kind of muted. I enjoyed it. I had a lot of control. I got maybe 2 hours on this. I'm excited to hit with it more. Um, it is on the heavier side for a standard paddle. I like Matt said, maybe it's due to the amount of foam they use or the way they use the foam, but it's not so bad because I'm testing this from an elongated user point of view. So anything and everything is lighter than an elongated paddle. So I don't know if you guys want a controllable Gen 3 paddle, this might be something you might want to try. It feels really good, nice and gritty. Not Honolulu gritty. But yeah, and I love the subtle design. It doesn't have to be too too crazy like the enhanced foam, the 4.5.
Yeah. I
That
mean,
thing looks like advertisement. Oh,
I do agree. I think Hudef, I think they should take their cues, their design language, and maybe apply it to some other aspects of their company. I think they could slim down their paddle descriptions and make it a little easier for us to understand. But yeah, I do
throw it
like
in
it.
ChatGPT and make it simpler,
Oh
more simple.
no, we are not promoting AI here, folks. We're not. But yeah, sleek paddle. So your what you described lines up with my experience with a polypropylene foam filled cell paddle. Once again, that Nexus paddle. Um, but yeah, I would be surprised if that's what they're doing. But based off of how you described it, I would be less surprised. But yeah, I agree. I think the graphics are sleek on this paddle, and so good.
Mhm.
We'll get you some more updates on that one. And then that particular paddle, the Hudef Apex Pro 2 with what they're describing as supercritical foam. That one is Matthew K10 gets you 10% off. And Who Duff's codes are crazy. And I have like 8 different codes. And so I'll try to leave those down there below. But aside from paddles, Mr. Wilson, I think you've got a couple accessories. Do you want to talk about the Lightning Loop?
Yeah, totally. Let's see. So the lightning loop. This lightning loop is basically a weighted trainer. It goes over any paddled standard wide body, hybrid, or elongated, and it's 4 ounces, so pretty heavy, like or 112, 115 grams. It's basically used for you to, I guess, strengthen your hands during dinking and hand battles. Basically, you use it. Let's see if I can do this. Um,
Yeah, we're gonna test you right now, Wilson. How
all
easy
right,
is this to
let's go.
install?
Yeah, let's see. Let's see.
I think I heard Hoka barking. That's taking too long.
I know. Sorry about that, Hoka.
All right, folks. I don't have a
All right.
Jeopardy.
So
All right, he got it
basically,
on.
here, you gotta put it on the ground and you gotta like stretch it over like a sock. But basically, it goes like this. And it adds 4 ounces. I mean, if you need, who needs tungsten tape when you have a lightning loop, right? Um, and you can do hand battles. You train with hand battles. It's I mean, so if this, let's say if this was 8 ounces, it's going to basically be 12 ounces now, which is crazy. So you do hand battles. You can do drives. I like doing drives and hand battles. And I'll dink against the wall. Just
So
and then
what's the point? What's
just
the point though? What is this supposed to be doing?
so like in baseball when they're swinging with weights and stuff,
Hmm.
once you train with it after a few minutes, or after a few sessions, you're gonna get stronger. And this, it's gonna feel like nothing. If it's gonna feel like air. So it's supposed to help you increase your hand speed with what
Okay.
you're using, with what you have. So I mean, it's great. Um, they really were. Their Instagram advertisement was what really caught my eye. You know, those darn
Guys,
algorithms, right?
Wilson is not being honest right now. This guy has been begging me to get a lightning loop for him to test out since I think
Because I saw it.
because of yeah, but you've been obsessed with this thing, and then unfortunately we could only get one, so we're having to share this one to test.
Yeah.
But we have sort of left out like kind of the elephant in the room is it's not cheap. It's not cheap.
Mm-mm.
It's $40. I just checked on the website.
And
Um,
it's I think $6 shipping unless you buy two.
got it. I did talk to them and I did get a 10% discount, but they're not doing codes. It's just a link
Mm.
that auto applies the code. And so I'll leave that down below. That gets you 10% off. So, but I don't know. I guess $40 after discount because I imagine that would at least get you your free shipping. Um, I think I'm no
No, you
mathematician. You
gotta
guys
buy
know that.
two. I think it's $50 or more is when the free shipping kicks in.
Right, but I
That's
think
marketing there, right?
I think a 10% discount would end up being free
Oh,
shipping. Yeah.
oh, and it
So
negates it. Yeah.
yeah, I think it depends. I guess if you're
Okay.
shipping, I don't know if they ship to Alaska, but about $40 to be able to get stronger, to have faster hands.
Yeah. I mean, it's either that or you load up a secondary paddle with a bunch of tungsten, right?
Yeah, but
The one thing I
I'm
like about that
I'm
is that, you can put it on and then take it off and use the same paddle.
yeah, yeah. I mean, obviously, it's cheaper than having a second paddle that you weight up.
There you
I'm
go.
kind of curious though. I would think this. I'll have to try this out myself. But if you want, do you end up gripping harder while you're? Because it's so much more weight. Are you gripping
So
harder?
yeah, your hand strength and your wrists and your forearms are dead tired after a session.
Okay.
But as soon as you take it off, you'll feel that you're able to hold it lighter because the
Got it.
paddle feels
Got it.
lighter, you know?
Yeah.
So yes, during the use of it, you may be gripping it harder. But once you take it off, you can hold it nice and soft and your hands are gonna feel as fast as lightning, right?
Wilson, you better practice with that while I'm gone, because now you've convinced me I need to use it. So I'm gonna have to
I,
get
I
it
think
back.
I think both of us will benefit from it, especially with all the
Yeah.
bangers we play against.
Yeah. I mean, it's basically, I've always had trouble just like forcing myself to do the pistol grip,
Mm.
that that hand strengthening tool, like a lot of
Yeah.
pickleball people use. Like you watch TV and you use that, and I just never remember to do that. But I do think I could see myself doing some dinking on a wall,
Hmm.
and then
Hmm.
practicing some firefights on a wall with that thing. And then if you
Yep.
guys have the space, definitely this sounds like it would be a good combo with the Ding Master Pro from Enhanced Pickleball.
Yep.
And so that's I always I wish I wish I had space for that thing. But anyway, all right. Well, Wilson, that's not all you got. I believe you've got the
Oh yeah.
the infamous. Do you have a pair of kitchen blockers you've been testing
Heck
out?
yeah, man. Look at that. How do I look?
You look like a superhero. You look like
I
how I
know.
see you. You are a superhero.
Oh.
But
Thanks, Matt.
so you've been testing this out. Kitchen blockers. If you guys don't know, they're basically they're eye protection, but they're lensless, and so you don't have to worry about glare or fogging. They come in a couple different colorways. Wilson's got the black pair. I've got the clear pair. And this one you might see all over the Instagram. Pro player Zane Ford sporting these. Also, senior pickleball report sleeves. He's always wearing. He wore a pair of these at the Nerdy Tourney. And so some big players are sporting these. And yeah, their company has a pretty interesting origin. They seem really well made. I don't know if you guys can catch these details, um, but seem really well made. Come with a nice case. Some extra nose pads, I think. Is that what they were in there?
Mhm.
Did you?
Yeah, there's just some extra foam padding. Um, they have foam padding in the temple and in the forehead. I guess those may eventually wear out, so or break down, and so you can replace them. Um, yeah, so
And
I mean the accessories are great. The idea is great too. The only thing for me is that I look like the Hamburglar with it on.
uh,
For those
I,
who are too young to know who that is, that's the from McDonald's, the thief, the black and white character in McDonald's. Yeah.
yeah. I don't know. I think
Um,
pickleball. We're always looking weird out there. Like, I don't know. You do. You you'd always wear sunglasses
yeah.
or
So I'm always wearing some sort of eye protection. And I do like the lensless part, the idea of a lensless eye protection, because lenses create glare no matter how good they are. And I currently use some Smith mountain biking glasses that you can interchange them from clear to dark shades lenses. Um, but no matter what, or no matter how nice they are, they have some sort of like reflection, and that can really throw you off when, especially at night with the artificial lighting. So having a pair of eye protection that has no lenses, you know, kind of takes that away, takes that. part of it, that worry away from me. So the
Yeah.
idea I really like, and I can see why they designed it this way so that the ball doesn't actually hit your eye. It's not, so that's why it curves in. Um, but yeah, it's a great idea. I've been trying it out. I still go back to my Smith sunglasses m- during competition, but I'm still testing these out. I've been liking it. People have liked it at the park. They like the lack of glare,
Yeah. I
So
mean,
they
the
have something
big
going on here.
yeah, the big feature I see it is because I wear just some old sunglasses that I've had forever whenever it's sunny for the most part because they're good lenses. Someone gave them to me, um, and they're also just the old school cupping. I don't love the way I look in them. I think it makes me look like a little bit more of an intense person than I am. But they're good lenses. I mean, they're just some old Ray Bans someone gave me, which thank you, older brother Curtis, for giving those to me. And I like wearing them. But when it's not sunny or when it's coming on to dusk, I switch to my carbon glasses with the transition lenses, and I did a whole dedicated video on those things because I really like those. And they have a look that's more in line like with how I like to appear in public. They have like a classic Wayfarer look. But the issue I've always noted, the only issue I've really had with those, um, was like the clear lenses. Like glare's never really been an issue for me. The issue is sometimes I'll get some sunblock or something on the lens, and it's happened. I think when I've played with you,
Yeah, you got to
or
stop
maybe
to clean it off.
yeah, or maybe I don't know, a freaking wasp flew into it, and I had wasp guts. I don't know, something got on the lens, and I didn't have a cleaner on me, and I had a really hard time cleaning it off. And so that's like, if you have a dirty lens in game during a game, that can be like not fun to have to deal with. And so I do think these you wouldn't have that problem. You wouldn't have to deal with them
Yep.
getting dirty because there's no lens to get dirty. And obviously, if you're someone whose face like you're at situations where you're always fogging up your lenses, that's another benefit aside from the glare stuff. But yeah, that I think is another plus. And I think I could get. I mean, I already look goofy on the pickleball court. I'm always there lugging a duffel bag of paddles. I got my goofy socks. Like I think I'd be fine. I think I'd be fine. But yeah, KitchenBlockers. Promo code Matthew K does work over there with them. Just got that set up, and so yeah, if you're looking for some eye protection, Wilson and me, both members of the Is This a Pickleball podcast, we are big proponents of eye protection. So definitely check them out. And now, Wilson, I think that does it for what you've been testing, right?
Yeah.
All right.
Well, let's see a quick shout out. How about that?
Quick shout out. Let's do
Um,
it.
I've been testing out these Onyx paddles. Well, primarily this one, the X Pro, and then this is the X. This is the fiberglass version. This is the carbon fiber version. I guess this is their take on Gen 2 thermoform paddles. I guess apparently. I think they cause a ruckus with the thermoforming patents, right? So they have a patented thermoforming process that only they can do, right?
Wow.
Have you heard of that, Matt?
Wilson's in the discords. Whoa, he knows his stuff. Yeah, they had
A little bit, just a little bit. I'm trying to be a better paddle reviewer for the viewers.
yeah,
Um,
Onix owns some IP that we've seen lots of companies use, and they are yeah. There's a little bit of a ruckus going on. Yeah. So how is
yeah,
this
so
paddle? This might be the only thermoform paddle that will ever exist. How is it?
yeah, so it's a great control paddle. I find it interesting. Like it's very controllable, very easy to play with, very um predictable. I would say predictable. That's how I would describe this. It's not a power paddle. I wouldn't even call it an all core. I would basically call it a control paddle. And I think it's kind of sad that control paddles have this stigma. Like I don't know. It's like power paddles have to be like very expensive and new age, new gen, new tech kind of stuff. But and then control paddles can just be super basic and affordable and everything. Um, but more or less, I do like the control paddles. Once in a while, I like to go back to it to make me appreciate the power I have from the power paddles. But I do bring these out whenever I play with lower level players, like control paddles, all core paddles, control paddles. It kind of lets me focus on my forms and my strokes a little more than having to worry or rely, not worry, but rely on what the paddle can
Okay,
do.
so that's why
Um,
you're always breaking that out when you're playing across from me. I see. I gotcha. I
yeah,
gotcha.
when you see me with a non-Gen 3 paddle, that's because I think I'm better than you.
Thank you. Oh.
I'm just kidding, Matt. I hey, I worry about playing against you that I bring out a broken 11.624 Hirachi power.
I don't know why you do that. I've never gotten that, but so the Onix, it plays well. It's just it's a control
It
paddle.
plays well, it's reliable, it's predictable. Anybody getting into it, it's actually a pretty good deal. I'm sure Matt would have a code or something for
Yeah,
you, but I'm
Matthew
pretty
K
sure it's
should work.
under 100.
Okay,
I'm sure it's under $100.
yeah, I need to check, but
So
I do know
yeah.
promo code Matthew K is set up with them. I'm not sure on the price of that, but one thing I did like about that release is, I mean, yeah, if they're, I'm glad to see that they're utilizing their thermoforming technology. Because, but, and I do think it makes sense that they started with the control paddle or an all court.
Hmm.
Because I'm pretty sure this is their first dip into that kind of paddle because they've had some unusual paddle designs up until now. And I appreciate it when the companies start on the lower end of the power spectrum. I think that's what we've seen with True Foam, for example.
Hmm.
Um, and so I'm excited to see where they take it. But one thing I do appreciate is they have, I think, pretty good paddle graphics and design. Some subtle
Yeah.
stuff, but it looks nice. And awesome. Onyx, they're back. It's not just about the Z5. Wilson, do you know how much I begged them to send me a Z5? Because I just think that would just be such great, like, clickbait. Like,
Comparison.
yeah, in comparison, this is
Uh,
the Onyx, but they're trying to move away. They don't want to be associated with the Z5. And folks, go check out their website. There have been so many iterations of the Z5. I think they have a paddle called the Z8 as well. Like, and they look crazy. Like, they're so crazy looking.
Interesting.
And I bet you promo code Matthew K will get you a deal. But I'm always checking like resale sites because I just want a Z5, like the old one. Because I think there's a good video to make there, but I don't want to buy one, and no one will give me one. I've been like I heard of
Yeah.
someone getting one at Goodwill one time for like $5, but I have not lucked out. But all right, I think that's where we're at with what we're testing right now. But before we wrap up, we've got some major paddle alerts you do not want to skip out. And I'm just going to get right into it, Wilson. This is news to you. You don't even know what I got. Are you ready for this?
No, I don't. Let's hear
All
it.
right. All right, folks. I'm finally getting to test some Selkirk
Boomsticks.
paddles. So these are the new Boomsticks from the SelkirkLabs program, and I really can't say anything about them. I have been sworn to secrecy. All I can share is on Instagram and on YouTube. I posted some shorts. These have some insane packaging. It comes in the little spy briefcase, and I'm gonna show them. I'm allowed to do that. I can't talk about what any of this is, but you can definitely see there's some stuff going on. And I really can't say anything about it. But
Any release dates?
I can't say anything about that either.
Oh man.
But the internet, the folks that have hit with these, I just got these, the folks that have hit with these are called the Boomstick for a reason. Apparently they're very powerful, and I've also heard they're very poppy. And so you've got the elongated and you've got the standard, or the wide body. I'd have to measure these, but standard and elongated. And sadly, I'm going to be gone for a while, and so I'm not exactly sure how I'm going to do this. I want to hit with these. I'm super excited. And yeah, a lot of people are visiting the Selkirk factories. Hey, Selkirk. Wilson and I would love to see your place. Like, show us your crib. Like, we used to watch MTV. Like, we know what's what. Like, give us a tour, please. Yeah, lots of people have been really speaking highly. Like, Selkirk is opening their doors a bit, getting a peek behind the curtain, and people are really impressed with what they're doing. And if you're not familiar with the Labs program, it's basically where it's not unlike Body Helix's sandbox program. It's sort of like where you can get an early look at the tech that they're working on. You can be an early adopter. I kind of like I've been thinking about this, how to describe it. It's kind of like a concept car, or like a luxury, like a high-end luxury car. The Labs paddles are not for everyone, but sometimes the innovation will trickle down to their other lines. And so, so if you want to be on the forefront with what Selkirk is doing, you can look at their Labs program. And then, I really can't say anything else. That's all. But aren't they? These are pretty good looking, aren't they?
They're pretty looking.
Yeah. And so I'm excited to hit with those. I've actually never done a Selkirk paddle review video. I have reviewed their shoes on the channel, and so I've got some ideas, and they seem to have like their program a little more sorted. So I think I'm working on something special for a video on them. And Wilson, I don't think we're gonna get to our other talk today. What makes a good paddle reviewer? Once again, just like Jimmy Kimmel, always apologizing to Matt Damon, but that segment is gonna get pushed. But one thing I've noticed now that we're doing the podcast, and I'm not sure the solo review videos, unless you're able to drop that video with a paddles release, I'm not sure people care about the reviews, but they seem to really like the podcast. So maybe it's the Wilson Pickleball channel. I don't know. Hopefully they're still enjoying some of my thoughts, but I think it's on the podcast we get to cover more often and sooner. And so I think on my review videos, let me know down in the comments, folks. I'm thinking of changing things up a little bit. Maybe doing more overviews. I've also been thinking about doing smaller videos that I can do faster, although it's really hard to do anything fast, especially if you need play footage. And if I don't include play footage in a review video, I got all the comments, yeah, you don't know how to play pickleball. But maybe I've established at this point to folks I can play pickleball, I can point them to the other videos. That really is a part that takes up time, but I don't know. I'm exploring new formats. Hey, if you guys have ideas, what you want to see on the channel, let me know. But back to paddle alerts. I just don't have the high end, dude. I got something interesting. This company caught my eye. Caught both my eyes. These paddles are from a company called Joysent. And I actually... the only reason I was really interested in them is because they have a paddle that looks to be the Agassi shape.
It does look like that. It goes like that.
Yes, and I'm a big fan of that paddle and that shape. We don't see that shape a lot of places. And I don't have a lot of info on this paddle just yet, but I'll try to get some. Stay tuned to the channel. Just got this. Wanted to show it. And I don't even think it's USAP approved. I think it's really inexpensive as well. And they did set it up with promo code Matthew K, I believe. So if you're looking for this shape, there aren't a lot of options. And so, yeah, I'm going to check this one out. It's a company called Joysent. And then, bear with me, Wilson. Got two more. Got two more that I wanted to show before the big podcast break. And that is...
Wait, I need my tip of the week too, okay? Can I get a tip of
we
the
got
week
the
after
tip.
this?
Yeah, we're just gonna have a little. It's gonna be a little extended cut. We're gonna be away, so you got the tip of the week still. Don't worry. But this is one I have for you to test while I'm away. This is the updated LuzzCannon. This is now USAP approved. And yeah, this one, they got in a bit of hot water. Pickleball Tech Dude revealed that this thing hit hard, although there are different takes on the internet, so we're going to definitely have to hit with this. And like, didn't understand why this was on the list, but the mod TA wasn't. And it appears Luz just tried to like get this approved via... There's a way you can approve paddle via like it's the same and just do like a quicker approval process, the same as one that's already been approved, and that's not the case. It was changed, but now they did the proper submission. It's approved, and this one is a very good value. And I don't know what happened. My notes changed up, but this one, the promo code I think is Matthew K10 or something. I'll put it in the show notes. I think it was a different code. I can't remember now, but I appreciate the look. I think it's a slick looking paddle, simple design, and so it's got the PB Core 43 stamp. You don't see that too much yet, and so this is one I've got for you. Definitely got to hit that. And then something that I have failed to cover on the channel. It's just I don't know what's happened. I've not been able to make it happen. But Pickleball Apes, they make some great paddles, and I just failed to get them on the channel. But they have released a new line, or are releasing a new line, called the Harmony line. And this is a follow-up to the Pulse line. And it's supposed to be, they're supposed to be lighter than the Pulse paddles. And they're claiming they've got improved maneuverability, but with more pop. And I know, based off of everyone in the comments, folks love their pop. And so it'll be curious to see a paddle that's got improved maneuverability and increased pop. That'll be interesting. And it's still a Gen 3 build as the Pulse paddles, but I've actually seen an X-ray that they shared with me, and it's not a floating core. It's actually got foam padding, like I think it's in the corners, if I remember right. So it's just unusual, and apparently this configuration was something they found while researching a full foam paddle. And so they wanted to just release it like this. They liked it that much. And what's interesting about it is it has a higher target twist weight than the Pulse paddles, but the same swing weight. So more stability, or same stability, more power. And so that's going to be interesting. But the real thing, and if you've been tracking Pickleball Apes, the original iteration of the Pulse paddles had a break-in, and then they did a second iteration to try to lessen that. And we talked about this on the podcast before about like, you get a paddle and it plays one way when you first get it, and then it changes. This one, they're claiming no break-in period. And so nice. I think that's a pretty attractive thing with the paddle. And the last I heard, the launch date is around August 6th to the 8th. So this isn't far away. And yeah, it's coming in. There are 3 shapes, not the super elongated blade style one. Pickleball Apes, that one, come on, think about it. But I guess that one's not selling as much, but they're one of the few companies that still do the blade style paddle. So folks, go buy one. Go buy a blade style paddle. I don't want to see that going away, disappearing. Like if you've got bending issues, like I think it's more in the if you liked the gearbox PPE shape, if you come from racquetball, if you come from cricket, look at the elongated pickleball apes paddles. Let's keep that shape alive. But that's all I got, Wilson. Those are the paddle alerts. What do you think? I mean, I'm gonna be gone during all this mayhem with all these other power releases, but there's some crazy stuff happening this summer, right?
There is, but it's nice to take a little break for yourself. Enjoy some time
Right.
off. I hope you have a good trip.
Thank you, thank you. But I mean, there are a lot of paddles. This is probably not the time to step away. But are you? Did any of those stick out to you? Are you excited about any of them?
I'm excited to hear what you think about the Boomstick. That one sounds pretty
Yes. Well,
interesting.
yes. Well, Devin, and you're gonna have to hit with that one at some point as well. Um,
Yeah.
Hopefully, all that embargo. I'll have to check all the dates. But yeah,
Mhm.
exciting stuff going on. But you know what else is exciting, Wilson?
What's that?
Getting better at pickleball. And you know what? The only way I get better at pickleball, because you don't see me going out and doing the drilling I'm supposed to be doing. No. What I do is I host a podcast and then I make Wilson give me a tip every week on how to get better. And that's how I get better. If that's how you get better, get ready because it is time for tip of the week. This segment is presented by BodhiPickleball. Wilson's a convert. He loves tungsten tape. Check them out. You can
I
get
do.
tungsten tape there. You can get over grips. Wilson is testing out their tournament bag right now. They've got, if you need a pickleball accessory, they've got it. Check them out. And now, Mr. Wilson, make us better pickleball players. I'm ready.
Yeah, so Matt, the tip of the week of this for this week is lobbing. You know, people I think lobbing is a very underrated shot. You know, you don't see it too often, but if done right, I think you could totally make it an offensive
You've got me stressed,
shot.
Wilson. I got to interrupt. I got to interrupt. We're
Yeah.
promoting lobbing. Valid, very valid.
Well,
But
it's a
yeah,
it's a legal shot.
it's illegal. But you triggered me. All right, those lobs.
Okay.
But now I'm ready. I'm grounded. I'm ready to hear it. All right, you're telling folks
All right.
to lob. All right, I'm ready. All right, get.
Yeah, give lobbing a try. But what I notice is that people don't actually practice lobs. One thing is don't try anything new on tournament day. You want to actually practice these. What you want to do is make sure you can practice with a partner. You dink a few, and then you try to lob over your partner. You want it. You want to make sure that the ball goes past the reach of your partner and maybe even a little more if you expect to play taller players, and make sure it'll land in the back three-quarters of the court. What you want to do is practice it. Don't don't try it on tournament day. And you want to aim for the backhand side so that they can't do an overhead like a tennis serve at your face, you know? Um, so you want to aim for the backhand high above their backhand. And yeah, make sure you add a little topspin, brush it up so that it comes back down into the back of their court. Try it. It all you can really do is drill it, just like a dink, just like a third shot drop, just like a drive, just like a serve. You need to try it during practice, but try it. Try dinking and then lobbing it over your partner across from you um, until you dial in that height and depth. But also, other than that, it's returning the lob. If let's say you're not tall enough and you can't reach it and do an overhead, what you want to do is back up and catch it off the bounce. However, the dangerous thing that a lot of people do is they try to backpedal and lean back and try to hit it. That is dangerous because you may trip and you hit the back of your head. And I see and I've heard and I've read stories where older people or people who may not have the proper footwork can fall and hit the back of their head, and that's not good at all. So what you want to do, there's two options. Either you pivot perpendicular to the net, side step back, and then hit it off the overhead or off the bounce behind you, or you just straight up turn around, face away from the net, and run to the back until meet you meet up with the ball behind you after the bounce, and then you can either drop it back or drive it back. Yeah, so the biggest thing is don't backpedal. When you're receiving a lob, don't backpedal. And when you're trying to do lobs, make sure it's high and deep enough, and don't do it on tournament day. Try it during a drilling session, or try it against uh, more novice people.
Oh no.
Yeah, yeah.
There are a couple people where I play rec play. That's all they do, the whole
Hey,
game.
it works. If done right, it is
It
annoyingly
works.
effective.
It works, but I wasn't there to be a lobbing drilling partner. But yeah, I've definitely seen it effectively used. There's a lot to discuss real quick on this. First off, I totally think reacting to lobs, I think, is probably the first thing, folks. If you're listening to this section, I think more than anything, that's where you should put your first focus, which is, I think Wilson's statement on do not backpedal is crucial. And I also think you need to do a survey. This brings me to my own tip, which is you need to do a survey of your surroundings when you go to open play, because a lot of open play are made from makeshift tennis courts and the pickleball courts are crowded onto it. And some lob situations are, you just gotta let it go. Because just there are too many stationary objects preventing you from being mobile. And then more importantly, on backpedaling, you can't see where you're going. And someone one time had an incident where an older person did do a backpedal at open play, and they backpedaled and tripped over the tennis net that was dividing two pickleball courts from other ones, and they suffered a serious head injury. And so you want to know where you're going. I think the easiest would be the sidestep. I think younger people could definitely do the turn around and run. I think when you're getting lobbed, do a quarter pivot, 90 degrees, sidestep, right? Is that 90? Yeah.
Yeah, 90 degrees.
Yeah, and you're sidestepping. And then don't forget, you don't need a rush, because you're going to hit it off the bounce most likely. Obviously, if
Yes,
you have the opportunity. But don't rush. Get to the back. I feel very passionately about this because I had to talk to my dad about this.
Oh,
And sidestep to the back, and then you can take your time. And then, guys, don't forget, it's pickleball. If you miss it, it's freaking pickleball. Like, you'll be okay. But you don't want to get hurt. And then, so I definitely am in the sidestep camp. And then, don't forget, like, once you do that, though, what's your next thing? You want to, in my opinion, try to do a drop. So
yes.
you have time to then get back in position. I think some people at rec play want to lob a lobber, just to be
No,
like,
that's
oh,
not.
but they're going to do an overhead on you, and like, it's not going to be fun. So this is the time to try to drop something into the kitchen, do a true reset. There's really not an opportunity, in my opinion, to do a drive off that bounce because you're at the baseline. You might have the chance, like when you're sidestepping, oh, it's not as high, and you could have that overhead opportunity. But I would recommend, if you're trying to do an overhead, like, aim towards your opponent's midcourt, because you're out of position and your depth perception is probably not going to be correct. And if you do it like, oh, I got an overhead, and it's gonna, 4 out of 5 times you're gonna slam it into the net.
Yeah.
So be careful on that, and just remember, yeah, you're ticked off that you got lobbed, but let that go. We talked about the mindfulness last episode. Let that go and just take your time, reset, and then yeah, if you keep getting lobbed over and over, if Wilson came to open play to just practice his lobs and is lobbing on you every time, it's lame. It's rec play. It is what it is. And just deal, like, let it go, like deal
Like you
with it.
said, it's just pickleball.
Yeah, I mean it's frustrating if you've like waited an hour or 30 minutes and you finally get in a game and it's just lobs. But I have a couple
You're really
people.
taking this personally, aren't you?
I do because there's really not a great response to a lob. It is
Yeah.
survival mode, and so what you
Hmm.
are practicing is, I would say, mindfulness more than anything, and then resets. And then just look at it as a drilling opportunity, I guess. And then here's the other side of the coin, though, that Wilson talked about in the first half of his tip, which is practicing lobs. But why would you lob? And of course, practicing a lob could be any scenario. But I've tried to, also talking to my dad, a good time, I think something we should unpack a little bit is, why would you want to do a lob? And I think a good time to lob, and I've seen it really effectively used, is when you're facing players that are doing really well, and have you tied up in an
Hmm.
exchange that you don't really have a good opportunity to get out of. And so it's
Hmm.
like your parachute option, and you want to shoot that thing high and over, and hopefully over that player, which Wilson was talking about, to make them go backwards and get out of position
Mm.
so then you can reposition. And so, yeah, I think you lob when you're in distress. And I think lobbing makes the most sense when you're in distress up at the net. I think,
Hmm.
would you ever do a mid court
Yeah.
lob?
No. So for me, lobbing can be offensive, but it's usually a. I would think about even. I would only think about lobbing if we're in like a dink battle. If all four of us are in the front, and if let's say they are a better dinker than I am, or if I am able to pull them out wide, and there's an opening that I can do a more a lower lob between the players or something. Um, if I can pull them off, let's say they're just better than me at the kitchen line. If I can pull them off away from the line, the kitchen line, I that's when I'll lob.
Yeah, I think I've actually seen you practicing a lob. I think one sometimes,
Yeah,
uh,
against you. No, I was kidding.
yeah. I think a good time to use a lob in that scenario. I don't know, it's when you're playing someone that's a better dinker, but that's someone that's caught a good groove. Because when you're in a groove,
Mm,
you
there
can
you
be more
go.
aggressive, and so yeah. And I think another time is when you're facing a team where one of the players is eating the entire court, uh,
Mm, yeah,
and taking their partner's shots left and right up at the kitchen.
yeah,
If
yeah.
you do a lob over them, first off, there's going to be a scramble because they have to communicate who that's for, especially if someone's been eating into the other player's
There you
space
go.
the whole
Yeah,
time. And so it is hard when someone's in a groove to break it, especially when they're playing singles and they're playing singles well.
yeah.
I know that sounds like counterintuitive, but yeah, that's the time. And then yeah, yeah, and
Yeah,
you said
give
that you
lob a
use it.
try.
Yeah, but you said you use it in an offensive manner. Were you? What do you mean? Like,
Yeah. Let's say we're dinking and I'm unable to get them moving the way I want it. I can't. I'm unable to speed up on them because their dinks are good, and their dinks are low, and the coverage is good. I just can't get around them. Then after if they send me a dead dink, even though it's low, I'm just gonna lift it up above them, and then
right?
make them scramble for it.
Yeah,
I can offensively, change the pace of the game. Yeah.
Got it. No, no, I think no, I've definitely seen you do that. I've noticed
I
that.
want to. I basically want to disrupt their their flow, their
Right.
pattern.
Because you basically aren't getting any opportunity to
Yeah,
do a winner. And so
yeah.
then you're creating some chaos. But what do you think, though, at open play, someone, every hit they
No.
do is an overhead?
Oh no, I understand. I've seen people, I've played against people who are constantly lobbing, and when they do that, after a while, I'm just ready for the lob, and I'm just gonna. And I came from badminton,
Yeah,
so I'm
that's
just gonna. I am just gonna kill it.
yeah. Well, you have an unfair
Um,
advantage. I have no badminton history,
yeah.
but
But yeah, after a while, if they do it a lot, I'm gonna start reading it. Just like anything, you only sprinkle it in once in a while, like drives and speed ups. You don't do it constantly, or else
okay.
people are
So
gonna start anticipating it.
let's walk it through then. So you haven't,
Yeah.
for just my benefit, you've anticipated you're going to get lobs. Um,
Hmm.
and let's just presume you don't, like, oftentimes this is when I have, like, maybe a less mobile teammate, but let's just,
Hmm.
let's not take that into consideration. You've got to read lobs are going to be coming left and right. What
Hmm.
do you do?
Yeah. So if I know that I'm gonna be getting lobbed, I will take a step or two away from the kitchen. I'm not gonna. I. That's probably the reason why they're gonna lob. They don't want me to hover over the kitchen line. I'll stay a few steps back, just so I can cover the lob in case they do lob me, but I'm still able to dink and catch balls out of the air. And yeah, so basically, if I am anticipating lobs, I'll take a few steps back and I'll be prepared for it. I'll try to read it to see it when they decide to lob it, and I'll attack it when I get the opportunity. But like you said earlier, playing against less mobile people, I will never do it against less mobile people. That is just rude. So don't do it against less mobile people. You can do it to younger people or even people who you're playing competitively against. If you're playing competitively against them at a challenge court or at a tournament, it's all fair game. But yeah, just
Fair enough.
if you're anticipating to anticipate it, take a few steps back off
All
the line.
right. All
Yeah.
right. Well, that's like three or four tips. And I got one more to add, and then I'll wrap up, Wilson. But
Okay.
this past week, we saw on the Instagram, there's been some mayhem at one of our local courts, and this goes to what I was just saying about assess your open play court. And this is similar, which is out here in LA. Apparently, one of our courts changed their playtime and made it an
Hmm.
hour later. This is the story I've heard. But a little clip went viral of someone that lives nearby a public pickleball court having an intense interaction with some pickleballers and was very frustrated that folks were playing outside of the designated time. Now, of course, there are multiple sides, but apparently the court used to be open at a specific time, and then the time got pushed an hour. And folks, you got to look at the signs, you got to look at the rules of the public courts, and you got to follow them. Because if cities keep getting complaints from people about the courts, we're going to lose our free courts. So, my
Mhm.
last PSA is look at the signs, guys and gals. Just follow the rules that they've got because it's like they don't have to give us the free courts. And so if we
Mhm.
keep flying too close to the sun, that wax, our wings, they're going to fall right off. And the pickleball is just going to be at the country club and all the private places. So that's my PSA. I think it's easy to get mad at the
The
viral, like
residents.
it's very easy to make these viral clips. And yeah, of course, folks aren't going to handle it well if they've been hearing the ping and the pong, every waking hour. But I think instead of like pointing to that, I think really the folks that are using the courts, it's gonna be on us to like self police and try to encourage each other to follow the rules. Ultimately, these are public spaces, and we have to help each other remember that and be as
We just have
considerate
to be
as we can.
respectful. Yeah.
Yeah.
We just be
And yeah, and
respectful,
that
everyone.
means yes, and figure out the rules of where you are and just follow them. That's it. But all right, that's a lot of tips in the tip of the week. I think maybe because we'll be missing an episode, we got some extras. But I
Basically
think
fit
that's
two
it
episodes
for
in
today's
one.
pod. Yeah, except we still didn't cover what makes a good reviewer. So, folks, if you got thoughts on what makes a good reviewer, leave us a comment down below. We'll talk about it one of these days. And then down there below, we got a link to GoFundMe. Our friend Dwayne has gotten into an accident and has a severe spinal injury, and he needs some financial help because, as you can imagine, that kind of life situation has some pricey costs. So if you've got some money you can throw his way, Dwayne and all of us will really appreciate that. And then a couple other reminders. We got those giveaways going. Check out the PaddleTech GTOC video that I just dropped. Check out the Vatic Saga video if you want a free Dinkaroo. There's a Honolulu Next Gen paddle. And I'm pretty sure by the time this pod goes live, you might have just a little bit more time to win yourself a pizza peel on that Honolulu J4K video. And then stay tuned. I am giving away a Carbon True Foam Genesis 4. So be sure to subscribe to the Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and like this video, and leave us some comments. We love hearing from you. Unless you got something mean to say, I don't know, just don't. Like, it stresses me out. But more than anything, I hope you get to pickle soon. Wilson, do you hope folks get to pickle soon?
I hope everyone
Folks,
gets
he's
to pickle
nodding.
soon.
If you're listening and you didn't see it, he's nodding. So we both hope you get to pickle soon. But more than anything, just don't forget, it's about having fun.